Well, it's a really cold, almost freezing cold Saturday morning. It's the 6th of January 2024. I've got a sign in front of me. It says Sedbergh, the 684, 4 miles to the left. Kendal, 6 miles to the right. And I'm going to make my way right over there towards Kirkby Stephen today, and across the top section all the way over to Orton, where I found a cafe that looks pretty good. But first of all, I've got to go this way down the 684, where I'm going to make my way towards Kendal and take a left, and then get over towards Killington. I've got ice on the road. I've got blue skies all around me on this side. The drive up was fantastic, but on that side, it's really misty. It's very cold. So let's get going. Come on, let's go for a ride. And there's my sign. It says unsuitable for HGVs. I'm taking a left down here. So that was the first left turning off the A684 Kendal bound. And when I get out of the sun into the valley, I've got the fields covered in lovely white frost. So this is almost like a typical winter wonderland. Not quite with the snow. I feel like I could just write some poetry right now. I need to be so careful on here. We have got ice everywhere. Oh my word. These back lanes might not be a good idea. Oh, it's so peaceful around here. So off Google Maps, I'm looking for Reservoir Road, and this will take me towards Killington. Oh, I'm loving it. I've only been going for about 20 minutes, and it's just straight away, you know, you work all week, and I've got that feeling, the feel-good factor. Cycling heaven, if you know what I mean. I'm looking at this road. You might say you want a gravel bike on here. There's a lot of pickup here, potholes, surface water. Just passing over the M6 now. We're going to go right over the bridge. I'm a cyclist and I live in the Pennines, and welcome to my channel. And as you can see, we're underway and we're on some lovely quiet lanes on a cold January morning in Cumbria. So let's have a look at the map at where we are right now. And as you can see, we're just south of Killington Reservoir, crossing the M6 motorway, with Sedbergh to our right and Millholme behind us, which is on the left. And looking in more detail at the route, we're taking a counterclockwise tour around the Howgill Fells, heading towards Kirkby Stephen along the A683, before heading due west towards Orton, where I had a spot of lunch at the Orton Scar Cafe, and 39 miles have been cycled at this point. And the reason why I'm out here today is because I get this feeling of being drawn to Sedbergh. I love the Howgills. I want to ride my bike back down that fantastic road where I've got the Howgills on my left, and that'll be on the return leg. So I'm going to make my way on this nice little back lane, Killington behind me, and we're going to be looking for the B6256. I've just stopped for a minute because the route I've chosen, you know, I had a quick look on the maps last night and thought, right, back lanes everywhere. I've had to take it really careful because there's ice all over the place, black ice, runoff water. And even look at this here, we've got to deal with all of this. You know, you need to bear in mind, it's rained that much, there's a lot of runoff, pickup and everything. So although, you know, it's a winter ride, this is what you've got to expect, and that's why I'm on my good old faithful Kona cooler. And it is what it is, but it'll get me through this ride. It will do it. I wouldn't like to be coming along here on my best bike. Crikey. So I'm not far from Sedbergh now, and this little lane will take me onto the 683 where I'll go left, and I'll keep on the 683 all the way then, more or less, to Kirkby Stephen. And because the sunlight's so low, the contrast, the colours, the vivid, sharp images, it's amazing. We're just approaching Sedbergh now, where I'll briefly meet the 684. So that cafe there, Smash Duo, I have done a video cycling to there. So I'll just make my way now, some steady progress along the 684, which actually is a really important coast-to-coast road, and in general it's one of them roads that just gets you from west to east or vice versa.
It's a pretty sight. Aren't they just fantastic? Oh yeah, I'm happy now.
So this road, it climbs from the valley below near Sedbergh, where its lowest point is around 270 feet above sea level, which is on the flatlands between the River Lune and the River Rothay. And in general, it trends upwards for about 13 miles to Ash Fell, and the summit will take you to over 1100 feet above sea level.
Wow, there's an absolutely amazing valley here opening up. Look at that! Way in the distance, that'll be Kirkby Spout, the waterfall. That is beautiful. So I'm about 18 miles into the ride now, and the road just gently climbs up. It's not that hard at all. Just keep a nice tempo. But we're going more up in towards like the murky mist. But the ice has gone, that's a good thing. Well, there's not many cars past me. I've got a long straight road ahead of me. It can't be far from the summit. I'm nearly at 1,000 feet above sea level. And my feet are getting cold now. They're not freezing cold, they're just a bit cold. Yeah, this must be near the summit now. I can see a sign saying Howgill Fells End, which looks like a really nice, interesting road going off to my right. But we'll crack on, and hopefully we'll get a nice little descent on the other side.
Well, I thought this was the summit, but it turned out there's another 3 miles to go before we reach the top.
Well, I'm definitely high up now. I'm in the fog and the clag, and I'm on Ash Fell, which is one of the few remaining expanses of lowland heath in Cumbria, and is a rare and important wildlife resource in the area. Oh, 26 miles covered now. Kirkby Stephen, and I hit 44 mile an hour down that descent then. There's a nice little cafe along here we've stayed at. That one there, the Mulberry Bush Cafe. Yeah, I've been there. Not bad. It's a great little outpost, is Kirkby Stephen. I'll take a left. I'll have to look at the map. So we're going to go right on Silver Street, and we've got a more or less a 10-mile leg now to the cafe. So I'm on this road now. I can't tell you the name of the road. I'll try and find out and leave it somewhere here on the screen. So when I was planning the route, I was looking at options to get back west really, and the 685, it's a busy road. You want to try and avoid it if you can. So this section should take me kind of due west or northwest, and that's where I found that cafe at Orton. So the new roads, new places, and in fact that's a handy signpost there. I've got cycle route 70, Great Asby 5, Orton 10.
And at this stage here, I've covered 31 miles, and this was quite a tough section, because if you look ahead you can see the climb that I've got to get over, with Waterhouses Beck on my right and Potts Beck on my left. And it was great to get some downhill action, just for a short break, as I make my way towards Sedbergh in Tarn and Little Asby, and it's always nice to hug the inside line on a bend and get through the exit point.
Well, that were a bit of a slog. There's our sign though. Orton 6 miles, New Begin 4 miles. Route 68 now. Well, I've climbed up again. I'm on an unnamed road. I'm looking for the B6261, and I'm well up above 1,000 foot again. The mist over there trying to break through with the sun. Shame there's no views. I thought I might have been able to see Cross Fell today. Not to worry. I'm hungry now as well. Wow, this is a remote place. Look at that. Now I've got one of them little round cairns near where I live in the Pennines. This is stunning.
And it had quite an eerie feeling up here, with the light casting through the mist as you can see there. And then this fantastic single track road took me down across Lousy Brow towards Sedbergh in Tarn, which you can see just ahead on the left, with Tarn Moor ahead of me, which then leads on to Grimesmoor and eventually Raise Beck. And it literally felt like I was flying without wings.
35 miles covered now on this beautiful single track road. Not far to the cafe now, but you can see all the mist and that clag behind me. I've been stuck in that for about 2 hours now. Well, I've made it to Orton, This is the B6260 riding on Front Street, and the cafe is just round the corner. Well, this looks very nice.
It did look very nice, but the question was, did they do black pudding and did they do scones?
The Orton Scar Cafe, welcome. Hi, do you want to sit down or? Alright, thank you.
And for me, whenever I'm at the cafe, I always have a cup of tea. I don't normally have sugar at home, but I do when I'm out on a ride. I need all the energy that I can get. And that went down a treat.
Oh, cheers.
And guess what? I was in luck. They did black puddings, and that was a lovely black pudding. And I'd go as far as to say that these cafe stops, especially with a black pudding, are part of my little world of cycling heaven. It's sometimes the smallest things that can make all the differences. And whenever I go to a cafe, I always like to treat myself to a scone with some cream and jam. And that will replace the energy that I've used, ready for the next leg of the journey.
Thank you. Good little cafe, that. So that was the Orton Scar Cafe, and it was reasonably priced as well. The black pudding was piping hot, lovely cup of tea, and the scone was just what you expect. Obviously, cream on first, jam on second. It's time to hit the road. I'm looking forward to the next section now. I want to cycle down that lovely country lane, which takes me to the Howgills, where we'll start to follow the River Lune all the way back to the car. So I'm cycling on the B6260. So these are the Howgills. There's the Lune Gorge there. The village in front will be T-Bay, and the M6 will run through there, going north. So this is a beautiful place to ride your bike, fantastic area. And I've cycled around here on my John O'Groats to Land's End, and Land's End to John O'Groats adventures, so I'm kind of familiar with some of these sections now. So this is T-Bay, there's the M6 over there, and there's the Lune Gorge, carved out by the Ice Age. Isn't this tremendous? I just can't believe I'm up here cycling doing this. It's so uplifting and bringing back so many memories. Coming up here, doing these big epic rides and still coming back to them.
So I descended down the A685 and then took a left, which is where Borrow Beck is, which then flows into the River Lune. I was going to head underneath the motorway, which you can see in front there, and this would then take me on to Fairmile Road, and this is an absolutely wonderful road to ride your bike on.
So the first reason I came up here was to do that high level pass between Sedbergh and Kirkby Stephen, and I wasn't disappointed. But the reason why I came in this direction was to come back along this road. It blows your mind. So if you look to the right where the mast is, there's a car coming down a hill. That's the road to Kendal, and it looks steep, but it's not too bad. And in a minute we'll come to a hairpin bend where the views will open up, and I think, or I hope, you'll appreciate why I chose to come this way. It feels like I'm in Scotland.
And with the sun setting now behind the hills on the west coast, the images became spectacular, the way the light was casting across the fields. And with the cold dense air, the mist started to slowly descend onto the fell tops in places. And I knew I'd made a good decision to take on this route in this direction. So I made my way towards the Crook of Lune, where I passed the disused railway of Longhill Viaduct near Beckfoot, which then led me back onto Old Scotch Road, back to the car. And by then it was almost dark. and in the end I cycled 53 miles, which was a perfect distance for this time of year given the conditions. And the elevation gain was just over 4,460 feet, and I thoroughly recommend this ride to anybody.
So the new roads, new places. Well, that's a big pothole, look at that. You don't want to be hitting that.